tap your shit like you doing everybody else.
I need spades in my life.
I need spades so bad. The first thing we do as soon as they say Corona dead.
Wait on it.
The music a little bit lower than you live. Thanks, man.
That's why we pay the big bucks.
Bro, stop before you triple the distance.
That's a new thumbnail every time.
So great.
Oh, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Cultivated Ignorance. I am Will, the host.
I'm Mike, the favorite host. Stop.
It's so terrible. This week we got a dope show lined up for y'all.
Yes, we do.
We are going to be talking about, unfortunately, South Carolina has,
oh, God.
I think the Senate has passed a new abortion law, S1, basically saying that abortion shall not happen after a fetal heartbeat.
Yeah,
which is roughly 6 weeks. Yeah. So we want to know kind of what y'all's thoughts were about that. We're going to be giving ours as well. And about how men just try and control women's bodies in general. That's going to be the bulk of what this show is. Why we're still talking about this.
Gathering the men.
Thousands of years into existence.
Men just got stuff to say. We're going to be talking about this S1 bill, as well as people like Lori Harvey out here trying to date who she want. We don't even know if she fucking these dudes or not, but like y'all just be bothering.
But they just calling her whore and stuff like that. So like,
it's just it's been a lot. So
yeah, but as always, don't forget to join our Patreon. Patreon.com/cultivatedignorance.
Don't fumble the bag now.
Huh?
Don't fumble the bag now.
I know, right? You got dope shit on there. Exclusive conversations with certain people. We're gonna be also doing reviews. What did we do? What was our last review?
We just reviewed
Malcolm and
Marie, which was a great review.
That hot shit. That
was relationship goals of 2021. Malcolm and Marie.
That's what y'all need to be aiming for.
That's what y'all need to aim for. Yeah, that was a lit review. Yeah.
We're gonna be doing one on series WandaVision as soon as the season's over, which is in a couple weeks. We're gonna be doing that, and we're gonna try and stick to cool shit we like, and black shit
and shit y'all like. If y'all let us know what y'all want us to review as well.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll gladly review it. Just pay the $5 to see what we're talking about.
Shout out to all the pages that's already there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got a few people showing love. We appreciate it because these bills is real.
Yes.
And I got a child.
I got 10 kids that I don't claim, but I still send them something little here and there. So Terrence said that shit was horrible, but she didn't like Michael and Marie.
Because she don't want to see what ugly relationships is like.
You don't want the real.
She want to live in this fantasy world.
Oh no, anybody got time for that?
That beautiful toxicity. That shit was beautiful.
It was lovely.
So yeah, man. What you think about this S1 bill? Have you looked at it?
I didn't read the bill from head to toe. Pretty much read the headlines. They gave me the summary of it, which was like we mentioned before. Basically says that after 6 weeks, which is approximate time that you can kind of detect the fetal heartbeat, women can no longer get abortions, and the woman won't necessarily be persecuted themselves if they try to get an abortion, but the doctor who performs the abortion will face federal charges and a $10,000 fine. So it's basically the same thing. Like you can't really get a legal abortion.
Yeah.
And
no doctor who's gonna lose their medical license.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just found it outrageous, yo. Like the fact of the matter is, people are going to get abortions, like if they feel like they need one.
Yeah.
I don't believe in trying to make anybody a parent if they're not ready to be a parent.
This buffoon McMaster.
Can we just say for a moment how shitty it is to live in South Carolina? Like, in so many ways.
It's not just us though. Let's be clear. It's not just us. It's Alabama, Georgia.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, like this is
No, we're not alone.
This is sweeping the deep South for whatever reason.
We're one of the hallmark. Like,
yeah,
the South is still super South. Yeah, I just think it's gross, man. Like, because not only are you not trying to help these women raise these kids that y'all quote unquote think are so valuable to raise or whatever, but it's just gross, man. Like it's clearly for me anyway. I don't know what your opinions are, but it's clear to me like these politicians are trying to pander to, their voters on a very, very religious voting base, and trying to stay in power by using things like this. Because I don't really think they care about these kids, or not kids, but these fetuses that they're so-called trying to protect. I don't think they care about the livelihood of these women who have to deal with these things, who have to deal with the health implications of giving birth. And I think it's gross, man. I just think it's gross.
I think that they are so invested in their voter base and invested in religion that I guess they're not seeing the big picture. How forcing a woman to have a child that she doesn't want to have, like what kind of effect that can have on society.
You think they themselves are so religious they can't see that, or they just are just pandering to the religious voters?
I think both. I think both are a part of it. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because there's so many statistics on the actual good that the legalization of abortion can do, especially like on crime and economics in general.
Right.
So, for Republicans who, of course, nobody wants crime, but they're so big on like the economy and everything doing well, like having all these additional children that people don't want to raise, and people are in such poor situations because they have children that they don't want, they can't afford. Like it's an impact on the government as well. So it seems so short-sighted in a way. You know what I mean?
That's what makes me think it's more heavily on the political advantages of voting in this manner. Like they pushed this bill through so fast.
It was the first bill that they pushed through since the new people got elected.
Yeah, like in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah,
like you know how long it takes to get a bill pushed through, y'all. I don't know if y'all know, but typically, like it's a process.
Yeah,
some of it's quicker than others, but typically it is a process. When I'm talking about, they pressed this shit through to the point that he signed this shit as soon as he could. Because if the governor doesn't even have to actually sign the bills, they can let it ride and just pass into law passively, I guess you could say. He said he made a whole spectacle of it with the whole press conference and everything. Yeah. That's what makes me think it's more so of a political move.
Does it I feel like it's so insulting to women. Like I'm not the biggest feminist in the world, I'll admit, but it's just so blatantly against women that it was only 5 women in the room when they made this vote. Like there's only 5 women in the room when they made this vote, and one of them who voted against it, which really doesn't matter if she was or for against it. She was like, it's pretty insulting that there's only 5 of us in this room, and she's actually a Republican. So I don't know where she actually stood on the matter. She was a moderate Republican from what the article said. It's just so funny that still women don't get to really make choices about shit that affects women.
That's what I was going to ask. Like with the data that we know of how women are grossly misrepresented in terms of policy, how did this bill even get validated by regular people? Is it purely religious for just regular people? Or they really just you think people actually think that this is a life or death? We have to have all the kids we can handle out here.
I don't want to sound terrible, but we don't need all the kids, okay? We don't need all the children.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's real sticky because I myself am pro-life. I'm pro-choice. I'll say that. I'm pro-life, pro-choice. I feel like both of those. Yeah. I feel like you should definitely say, if you are pro-life, but you also should say if you are pro-choice as well. Because I feel like they're 2 very different topics that go hand in hand.
That's what I'm getting so upset when Republicans push stuff like this. They say we want to not that I'm a Democrat, but people like us want to kill babies, as if anybody is for killing kids at all. I've never heard someone say I want to see more abortions out here. No, we just need a safe way to have abortions. So this bill has actually gotten suspended. I don't know if you read this part for the next 2 weeks because
a judge stopped it.
No, federal judge. Yeah, federal judge stopped it because Planned Parenthood is actually suing the state of South Carolina because we're in the process of, I think it was like 74 women went in the process of getting getting an abortion within the next couple of days after the bill got signed, and they were like, "Yo, like we're in like this is actually happening actively. Like, how y'all just gonna come up? It's just really wild. Like, I don't have any form of logic around it other than they're harping on people's religious beliefs to push their own agendas to keep themselves in power.
So the only thing I will say with it maybe not being a religious matter is like whether you truly believe it's killing a life or not, and nobody really knows. Well, nobody has clearly defined where life starts. You know what I mean? And the state of South Carolina is obviously trying to say that life begins at a fetal heartbeat, despite the fact that if the fetus wasn't in the mom at 6 weeks, it couldn't survive on its own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so that's one thing I struggle with. Do you think like the whole definition of where life begins, do you think that's still a women's matter? Do you think that's just a human matter?
I feel like because the woman is the one that has the health implications of carrying the child.
Well, not in terms of abortion.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying like who decides where life begins? Because I feel like if everybody can decide where life begins, which I believe is accurate, then we should all have a say in when an abortion becomes murder. If you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Well, I think that's an important conversation. I guess what I was alluding to is like I'm not sure how much it matters because in terms of carrying a child, and I'm not trying to make this about abortion, but in terms of carrying a child, like who's the one at the end of the day has to carry that child?
Oh yeah, the woman. I fully agree.
You know what I'm saying? And like has to possibly lose her life in the process of that. Like is a woman. So it's a legit question. I'm just not sure how relevant it is to situations like this.
Yeah.
And that's a tough question.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really wish these old white men could get it together.
Yeah, I wish too. I will say one thing. I wasn't planning on bringing this up because this is a hard question. I think me and you have pondered still to this day. What is another tough question is like, what say so does a man have in like wanting his child to be born if a woman gets pregnant with his semen?
Okay. I think a man can say what he wants. She don't have to listen.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't listen, he should be able to walk away. That's my true belief.
I feel you.
But
at the same, like I feel you. It's just like if you were willing to have unprotected sex at the same time, like you kind of knew what could happen.
I mean, yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I fully agree. Like,
yeah. It's dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Please comment y'all's thoughts. Please, Terrence, until I get another kid. She just can't stop it. Please give us y'all's thoughts. That's one thing we don't have an answer on for sure. Well, Will has.
I have an answer.
I'm still like trying to figure my mind around that completely. But all in all, actually, we skipped the first question.
Did we?
The first question was, why are men so overly concerned with what women do with their bodies in the first place? Like, what is driving us to even like have these conversations like this about abortion, as well as like social issues where women are just out here living their life like it's golden, and niggas got to intervene with opinions and shit.
I mean, I think people, but men more so like to be in control of just any situation. And when you have a country and a foundation that has given you permission to do so, why not? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's just part of what the country has given men for so long that it's kind of just what it is now. Now, obviously, we should be trying to break that cycle, which I think it's happening more and more. You know, women in positions of power and niggas just waking up to their douchebag.
What is that woman doing out of the kitchen? What is she doing? Speaking on her own?
I think it's just a terrible foundation that this country and the way everything operates now is run. In the world, really. I mean, women ain't got many rights anywhere in the world.
No, I think you're right. And I think it's a lot of men refusing to come to terms with the fact that, like, a lot of things women do, like, aren't actually for us, like, for our approval in the first place. And the women that were doing a lot of things for our approval, or in a way, speaking of great shows, not that anybody said that, Euphoria, the special episode with Jules.
Yeah.
When Jules was talking to the therapist about, like, she's a trans girl or whatever, and she's talking about how she defined her femininity through the eyes of men,
mm-hmm.
and how she just kind of woke up and just realized like she didn't like any of that shit.
Yeah.
Euphoria is a wonderful show. Y'all need to watch this shit.
Yeah.
I hear so many women say that, like, waking up and being like, actually, I don't enjoy any of these things. Like, I don't want to do this shit, man. And so just like adamantly being against that and refusing to adhere to that, I think a lot of men don't know how to handle that shit. Like, because you can just see just men just putting their input. Like, I see dudes talking about how much makeup women. I seen little dudes say, like, if women knew how much men don't like makeup, they wouldn't put so much of it on. And I was just telling that before the show, like, I'm realizing in my last relationship, a lot of times makeup is just like a form of therapy for a lot of women. Like, they don't even be thinking about us when they're putting all that shit on.
I can see that. I mean,
like,
I don't really care what y'all do in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. On another level, I think men we like repress ourselves. We're not fully free to do what we want, to show our masculinity or how in touch we are with femininity, whatever. So we try and control the other sexes,
right?
Kind of thing,
right?
It's we have that mask of masculinity that we just have to keep up, so often, and it weighs on, I think, men as a whole. So we try and offset that by, controlling women as well.
Exactly.
So,
and we were gonna talk about this on another show, but this is why I feel like patriarchy doesn't actually benefit like men in our positions. Like, it might be to our, I guess, advantage in certain spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, for example, like, we had a room full of men and like a woman tries to say something and a dude might like overtalk her.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I guess he wins or whatever. But like, if that builds resentment in women towards men, if that builds violence towards women from men, like, how do we actually win from that?
It's just being short-sighted. Like,
right, yeah.
We're not looking at the bigger picture. I mean, that's not uncommon. That's not, hard to understand. Like, people are just short-sighted people for the most part.
Right.
We're impulsive. We do things in the moment.
Yeah.
We don't think about shit like that. And I'm sure men are worse because I'm a man.
I'm confident men are worse.
I'm very sure men are worse about it.
I think men got to realize that we as regular working class citizens didn't create these rules, but we try to live up to them, not realizing that they're being enforced on us to keep us all in a certain position. Even though we give them the thought that we will reach this higher position that most of us will never attain without some type of corruption, some type of, mass trauma done to those that we say we love or in community with. And when you don't realize that, it's like that whole like billionaire mindset where you gotta rob and steal, you gotta outplay everybody else, you gotta step on some backs, you gotta step on some toes. When it's like, to be Bill Gates or like Zuckerberg or somebody, but the chances of you being that, 0 to none in realistic terms. And it's when you kind of realize that you realize that you're really just hurting people that you love for nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you had any more thoughts on that.
I ain't got nothing else. Y'all need to cut it out, South Carolina.
Right.
Cut it out.
Get it together, South Carolina. The comments are going crazy, man. We're gonna come back and read those. Everybody's in agreement. Marcel and Ketchy, Xavier, thank y'all for joining us. I did want to shout out we have a local, one thing South Carolina does do good is women's empowerment. As far as the organizational level, there is a dope organization called WREN, which stands for Women's Rights and Empowerment Network. They do very, very dope work as far as supporting women, girls, and gender expansive people, and advocating for better policies, educating and mobilizing people, engaging individuals and organizations, and building coalitions with those who seek to further the efforts that they've already implemented. When you talk about like policy, like building policy, it's when you talk about going to these city council meetings, meeting with representatives, meeting with senators, doing dope things, like they do all these things. I was trying to get somebody on for this show, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. She had class tonight. But definitely check out scren.org if you live in South Carolina, which most of y'all do. If you're watching us, shout out to Solar City. Check out ren.org, scren.org. Just find out how you can get more involved, because that's one thing I want to take away with it. I don't want to just say like just complain about the shit and then we go back to our regular lives. Like definitely support them, get involved. You can volunteer with them, you can donate money. They do great things, so check them out.
Word.
Yes. All right. So as far as lawmakers who ain't shit, I'm sorry, regular people who ain't shit. Yeah, niggas got something to say about women just out here dating, man. Apparently, your girl Lori Harvey was out here living her life
with Michael B. Jordan.
Who was it? She had saw. Well, we don't even know if she actually dated all these people. First of all, but Michael B. Jordan's who she's currently with, right? And I think she was seen with.
Okay, let me back up. I feel like it's fair to say she's dated these people. It's pretty fair to say she's dated these people.
See, some pictures they were just in pictures together though.
Okay, even still, like whatever. I don't think it's wrong to say dated, because that is irrelevant. Like whether she dates somebody or not is irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree.
So continue.
The only reason I mentioned is because people framed it like she was just
people framed it like she was a whore.
Actually, this is your topic. Do you want to lead it off?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, anyways, Lori Harvey booed up with Michael B. Jordan as of late. She's been seen, so we can keep it PC for Mike.
What?
She's been seen.
Oh,
she's been seen with other people, Diddy, Future, Diddy's son. I don't know who else. I think that's just about it.
It was a couple other people. I can't remember.
Yeah, but anyway, she bad. She's super bad. Yeah. She's Steve Harvey's daughter. Mm-hmm. And she out here.
She said she was gonna think like a woman, think like a man, and what I don't know what Steve was saying.
Yeah, she out here living her best life. That's all. That's all. So Boosie, being the South Boosie nigga is, Boosie came out and said some blah blah. If it was me, I wouldn't date her.
But he said he wouldn't marry her. He said he'll bunk her or whatever, but he wouldn't marry her
because he sees her as somebody who's fast, loose, out here giving the cheeks away. Now, y'all niggas got to stop, man. Y'all niggas got to stop. Famous niggas and regular niggas.
Like, it be the regular niggas be the worst though, because the regular niggas be hyping up the famous dudes. Like
they be like, oh yeah, that nigga preaching, cuz. They be acting like these niggas is prophets. So like, why are men as well as men in the public and private so quick to call women whores? Like,
who was
whores for like pursuing relationships, especially when they're a celebrity? Like, what is that about?
Bruh, I'm telling you, niggas be scared to use that power. Like, so I watched the 4-minute, and this is the only view of Vlad will get from my ass ever. Because please cancel. We don't believe in cancel culture. Cancel Vlad. Cancel Vlad.
Give your interviews to somebody else.
Please give it to somebody else. I watched a little 4-minute interview, and the thing about it is he was like, man, I'm trying to figure out is why we not praising these dudes for being able to even get Lori Harvey in the first place. Like, why the dudes don't get the praise, but she get all the praise for being got? Like,
that's what he said.
Nigga, it was the most nigga logic like you would ever hear in your life. Like,
so he wanted niggas to get praise for getting her.
Yes.
But he wanted to shame her for getting these niggas.
Precisely. You can see the little symbols. What's the little meme with the symbols and the charts?
Oh,
the right angles and shit?
Please make me understand. Like, I don't.
But then he was like truly bothered by it. And I'm telling you, like, seeing a woman be like, I'm not gonna wait around for these dudes to make up their mind on what they want to do with me. I'm gonna pursue what I got. And then niggas still with the whole like lock and key analogy. You know, the whole like if you got a key that can open 1,000 locks, that's a master key. Okay. If you got a lock that can be just unlocked by any key, that lock is a piece of shit. Like, it's like the whole mental gymnastics of it all to explain why women shouldn't do what they like. As if like women don't vet like their partners the same way, like, or you would hope men do. That men usually don't, by the way. Like,
this nigga Future is a god,
bruh.
This nigga Future is a god out here.
You ain't never seen this many think pieces on Future in your life. But yeah, I think it's just intimidating, man. Like, and insecurity is a hell of a drug. Like, when you've been with a woman that you know for a fact, this is true for a lot of dudes, not for me. I don't have body count. But like, if your woman tells you I've been with 100 dudes, like the first thing you're gonna think of is like, how do I compare it to these other 100 dudes?
That's why I don't ask.
I treat everybody that has been with 300 people. Like, we still gonna get tested. I'm gonna wear a condom
until we get tested,
basically. And Bonnie said the lock and key bin garbage. This the go-to. It's the go-to. Like, it's insecurity, yo. I think I really do.
I don't know what it is, but these niggas got to stop. It's so. It's like, first off, why are you invested in this woman's life? Like, why did you feel the need to judge in the first place? Just why? That's all I want to know. Why?
What told you to get on this keyboard?
What told you to open your mouth and say, "Yo, I think Lori Harvey's a whore,"
and then put it in like a Twitter post that you think is just so prophetic, like you know how people be putting their statuses like he's
waking niggas up to something.
Yeah.
And then, like, I know somebody else, man, bro. We was having a conversation, and I was on Instagram or something, and I scrolled past India Love. Bro was like, "Damn, she's beautiful, but she's a whore." I was like, "God dang." Bro, like, we didn't even talk about India Love. Like, I was just scrolling. In one breath.
Wait a minute.
She's beautiful and a whore.
Wait a minute. Like, it happened that swiftly. Like,
bro, it was just like that. It was all in one sentence.
What did you even say to?
It was a compound sentence. She's beautiful and a whore.
No commas.
No commas. Bro, like, we got into this whole argument about like why she, and then he gave me the
lock and key.
No, he gave me that logic. Oh boy, gave us at the other podcast, at Trey and Vic's podcast.
Oh my god,
bro. he backed down and he was like, "Yeah, I think she's a whore. Like, whore is not an actual definition of her being a slut. It was. I've seen her with a bunch of men, so that's how I define a whore. I wouldn't date her." And I was like, "Okay, my man." Niggas just exhaust me, man.
Do you think, like, once you get them in that corner, like, and they start like, because I see what you're saying, like, it's that whole like, I said some foul shit, and if you just went along with that, it will continue being foul.
Yeah,
shit.
bro. Because like, as soon as he said it, I was like, well, what made you say she was a whore?
Now it's like, now I gotta go through the mental gymnastics of like,
what made you say she was a whore?
Yeah.
And I was like, she's been. He said something about like she's been with a lot of people, and I was like, do you know that though? And like, he just, you just keep trying to, move. You keep trying to move your definition of what whore is to fit like I'm not a piece of shit narrative.
But that's my thing. Why do that versus just being like, you know what? I might have stepped out of pocket when I said that shit.
Because you don't want to lose. You don't want to look like a piece of shit.
But it's so much
You don't want to
easier.
look like a piece of shit you are.
I guess that's subjective. But I would say it's so much easier though. Instead of defending bullshit, the act of defending bullshit. Like, we lied before, right? When you got caught in a lie, the effort it takes to defend your bullshit, to come up with a story, make it logical, and then memorize that story from this point going forward to the rest of your life.
That's why I lie no more.
Versus just being like, you know what, you caught me in some shit.
Yeah.
I apologize. How can I make it right? If I can't make it right, well, it was a good run what we had. But usually they're not gonna leave you. Like, well, it depends on who you with.
Yeah.
But the effort it takes to just build this narrative, like, you gotta turn into George R. Martin and shit, like, on the spot, and make your whole universe.
No, you be like looking like the last two niggas in the last seasons. That's what your shit be coming out like. You be thinking you be saying some good shit, and then come out like the last two seasons of Game of Thrones.
You think they was in the room like, yeah, this shit, they gonna love
bro,
this
you
shit.
know they were. You know they were.
Oh, and then she gonna finally snap, bro. She gonna kill everybody.
She gonna snap. Oh yeah, in one episode, shit gonna go left.
Yeah. I remember them niggas didn't even show up to Comic-Con that we. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't know, man. It just bothers me how men are just so invested in judging women based off of who they see them with. And like the crazy part is like they're celebrities. Like you're going to see them with men. Like they could have been out on one date. Like her, like one date. Oh, she's a whore. Oh god. Oh god. Oh my god. She's pictured with 10 men.
They all think her at once, clearly. Like,
even though the background's the same. It's yeah, of course it was the 4th of July party, but who cares? She's a whore. She's a whore.
Do you think it's as bad as it's always been, or you think things have got better? I do have hope that things have gotten better.
I think things have gotten better, yeah.
Yeah. Like
I think things have gotten better in some ways. Like men are more understanding probably as a whole.
mm-hmm.
But the visibility that men or the access that men have to women on social media makes them think that they have some kind of connection with their real life. So they feel like they can judge.
You think it's that deep?
Yes. I feel like people take like Instagram and pictures they see people in as like their real life. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Like despite it being one picture, like they feel like they can judge that moment or that person off of those pictures. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. I'm saying, like, do you think they actually feel like they actually have a true stake in that person's lives to where, because I always looked at it as it's just niggas who feel entitled to just speak on any woman's life. It's not necessarily that they feel like they have a particular stake in this particular person's life. Yeah. It's just they have entitlement in terms of judging what all women do.
Yes, that's gotten better. That's gotten better.
No, I think so too.
But the toxicity is still very real.
It's very real. It's very real, very gross.
Yeah.
Roxanne said, what about NBA YoungBoy out here having 1 billion kids at a young age?
Bro, my man is out here.
My man does have a lot of kids.
My man was with Floyd Mayweather's daughter.
Yeah.
Had a baby by her and then had another chick pregnant at the same time.
Bro's out here.
That nigga's getting it. I don't know what to tell you, Roxanne.
He might be the ultimate Christian. Because the Bible says, I don't know that you gotta tell me. Doesn't it say be fruitful or something like that? Spread your seed. Sprinkle it like Pepper Bay or whatever the dude's name was.
Salt Bay?
Salt Bay, there you go.
I don't think it says all that.
It doesn't?
It says be fruitful and multiply or something like that.
He doing it. He doing it. Yeah, man. It's ridiculous. Feel free to give more comments on that in the chat.
I just wish men would call other men whores just equally. Actually, I don't. That's not what I wish. I wish I would stop. But
just leave people alone.
Yeah, just leave people alone. Just leave people alone.
Just know that people, like, I think it's still just so much. I'm happy that our generation and definitely Gen Z is like straying away from these traditional religious beliefs of just constant judgment. And that's not to say I want more people to. Well, I do kind of want people to stray from religion, but even if you stay with religion, like I'm glad to see more Christians even be like, I don't need to be judging niggas on what they doing out here. Like,
exactly.
Kevin on Stage is one of my favorite comedians, and like they be talking about some ratchet ass shit on his podcast. And though he's very Christian, like he'll never get on the podcast and be like, "Let me tell you what these whores out here doing today." Like it's never.
Because it ain't his fucking business, and he know that.
He actually goes out of his way not to do that, like to go against that. So. Yeah, I'm happy to see that. This is just what's messing me up when people like are so afraid of other lifestyles that they just go to attacking it and judging it from an ignorant standpoint. And because it's all that deeply rooted, like imprinting of everything else is the devil. If you got one wife who's never been with anybody before and y'all have your own kids.
Not realistic in this day and age.
It's wild, yo. But yeah, man, with that, so anybody knows me knows that Patrice O'Neal is my favorite comedian, most favorite comedian of all time, who passed away some years ago at 41, I believe. And Patrice, if y'all know Patrice, I'm talking about like probably the most dynamic and just effortless comedian, one of the most anyway, to hit the stage. Like it never really sounded like he was telling jokes because he wasn't really telling jokes. He was telling exactly what he felt all the time. And I don't know if you were a huge Patrice fan or not.
I think I watched one Patrice special after you told me about him, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, man. Like it's just someone who's just speaking their truth unapologetically, and it just can do so in a hilarious way. And I was watching this documentary they had on him on Comedy Central, celebrating his life and legacy and everything. And what I loved about it is while they had all these comedians who loved and celebrated him and said all these good things about him, the document is very upfront of the fact that he was a proud misogynist, like self-proclaimed. He would say like, "Yo, I think men are better." That's the point blank period. And he would talk about like he had a fiance before he died and whatever, and he would talk about seeing other women and shit. He would talk about the experience of bringing in her and her new daughter. She had a daughter of her own, and like he was talking about like how he felt like a sucker, like being the nigga that got the pre-made married, pre-made family and everything. Like he was very honest about how he felt and shit, and like he would talk shit to women in audiences and shit like that. And it made me think about how like we so often celebrate black male triumph while kind of like overlooking like how it often comes at the expense of black women. Well, I'm saying black women, but women in general, like how we just kind of skip over the part of what the abuse this person might have put on the woman in his lives to get where he was, to get where he, I guess you could call his point of success, whatever.
Yeah.
I think about that with him. I think about that with rappers. Future, very future. I remember my first experience like realizing this was in high school with Big Pun. When he died, niggas was like, "Oh, R.I.P. Pun. We miss you, Pun. We love Pun." Pun was oh my God. You know Pun's like a history of abusing his wife and them?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, bro. This nigga was a terrible human being.
Really?
This is a terrible human being. Awful. Like, I just think about how we just skip over that. And I'm like, why is that, yo? Like, is it because we think it's a necessary evil, that it's just men being men, and that's just the territory of dealing with a strong man? Is it because we just don't want to confront it? Like, what is that?
I think it's because we don't want to confront it. It's like willful ignorance. Like if I can not like know about this, if I can say that this, I don't really have proof. Yeah, if I don't have proof that this didn't happen.
But you do be having the proof, though. You be having the proof.
I mean, yeah, she said she got hit. Sounds like hearsay to me. Yeah, she said she got hit, but it's hearsay. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people don't want to see people that they enjoy or people that they idolize be human, have flaws. You know what I mean? So I think it's just people just being willfully ignorant, like just wanting to completely excuse what they know is true.
See, I think what you said is true to an extent. I think we want to see them be human because we want to relate to them, but to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't want to address all that. Like, I think about us on this podcast with Joe Budden, right, and his history of alleged abuse. Like,
alleged.
Yeah. Well, no, didn't he actually get arrested for like domestic?
He got arrested for it. I mean.
Oh, the charges got dropped because of the whole thing. Yeah, but like even that, like, you look at football players and shit. Like, how we still,
But we canceled the whole world canceled Ray Rice. Ray Rice. That nigga did not get a second chance.
Bruh, no, absolutely not. And this even applies to like, if we're talking about just black men, this even applies to white people because like white people be abused, ignoring shit like that all the time. But you come to certain things like how Michael Vick with the damn dogs and shit.
Okay.
How they dogged this nigga like in the ground.
I believe. Okay.
Don't say some dumb shit. Don't say some dumb shit.
I believe in animal rights, but come on, man. But come on. I mean, like you got football dudes beating up their wives before Michael Vick.
That's what I'm saying.
Getting in no trouble.
That's what I'm saying. The selective, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Like I fully believe in animal rights.
We're not defending dog fighting and shit. But like,
only reason he went down because he was black.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's just I think you're right. It's we just don't want to confront that shit, man. We don't want to. And like looking at that documentary, like even the fiance in one sentence saying like, what did she say? She said they didn't actually have sex for like a year, right? While they were together. And then it was like, well, that's weird because he was talking about sex all the time, his routines during that whole year. And she was like, oh, well, we didn't have sex for a year. I'm not sure about him. And it was like super awkward. And then he gets to another point where she's talking about like how a woman approached her after shows and was like, how can you be with this dude? Like, he's out here being gross to women and shit. Like, how can you even stand by him? She was like, this man took me and my daughter in and like supported us and loved us. And like, he just did what no other man could do. Like, what do you, like, she was just like, obviously went to defense mode of like not acknowledging the shit.
Yeah.
So I think about how even women a lot of times perpetuate that. And is that for like a sense of like, you just think this is the best it can be? Like, you do think this is just a part of men?
I mean, if that's what she said, it seemed like that's what she felt like.
That's
I mean, because
wow.
if what you said is accurate, in what she said, it sounds like a bit of helplessness. You know what I mean? Like she didn't have anywhere else to turn. That's by saying, wondering. You know, he did what no other man could do. A lot of niggas could have took you in. There's a lot of niggas that could have took you in. So right. It sounds like she was in somewhat of a desperate place, and she found a savior in him. If your words are accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say verbatim. Yeah, that's what she said, but it might have made me went to defense of like he loved us, he cherished us, he helped me with my daughter and everything, he helped put her in the right direction and stuff. Like it automatically went to defense. It didn't go anywhere towards like acknowledging like this nigga was being super gross to women his whole life.
Hey man, you just gotta let some niggas massage over in their own lane. You gotta stay away.
That's bad. It's bad. So like, what's the solution, man? Like, other than just speaking up, like, what else can we?
There is no solution.
Men's gonna be shit.
Yeah, you gotta let the massage stay over there.
The massages.
Yeah, the massages. You just gotta hope they don't procreate and pass that down.
That'll be the main one procreate. Those things that be dicking down women the most.
I don't know. Don't know.
I think we just gotta, first of all, listen more in general. Like all men could just benefit greatly from just listening a lot more than we talk. I think.
Well, yeah.
I think that's. I mean, it sounds simple, but like we be.
I think it's. Okay, I'll say this: actively listening.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because this, like, I'm not gonna lie. I hear everything Karen tells me. Do I?
I'll get yourself in trouble now.
I mean, she knows this. It ain't no big deal. I hear everything.
I'm gonna tell you what you do.
Do I take in everything? No.
I'm gonna tell you what this happens. It's so funny because she be getting so pissed off. Like she'll be talking, you be like, and then like she'll finish her sentence and then wait for the reply, and you be like, okay, I'm so sorry, I didn't know anything. I didn't hear anything you said. I didn't listen to a single word you said. Can you repeat that one more time, please? And like you're trying to be super nice with it.
Hey, but see, here's the thing. Okay, so here's my growth, right? Before, if that same situation had happened, I would have said, all right, cool. And I would have lied about hearing what she said.
How do you get away with it?
So the growth is I acknowledge the fact that I wasn't listening. I'm actively listening now. Please repeat yourself.
How did you get away with like acting like you heard what you said you heard, but you didn't actually hear it?
Well, 9 times out of 10, she's just telling me something. Well, she would be telling me something that like I didn't have to do anything with. So I would just listen, you know. But now I care about what she has to say.
Now, right now?
Right now, I care. In this moment, you have my full attention.
Y'all see the growth live on the air. This is what male accomplishment looks like out here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man, actively listen, please. Like before you assume, that's the biggest thing I see. Like we assume that we think we know what women are talking about or what they want, and we just put it out there, and she doesn't take it. We think she either has an attitude problem or whatever, or hey, this ugly nigga man, or like she don't actually know what she want. But it's like if you just listen, like. Literally, if you just take the time, just take a moment, just sit back and just be like, let me just receive what I'm hearing right now. Instead of trying to build some kind of rebuttal to it, like you'll learn so much in that. And with that information, take it back to your homeboys and spread it.
Them niggas ain't gonna listen.
Bruh, but see, situations happen like what you just described earlier. That happens to me like all the time. Like niggas will just say some fuck shit. And you just be like, what makes you say that? And then like, it's like something like that heart beats like a little extra. Like,
what made you think that way?
Yeah, especially if there's a woman in the room.
Yeah,
Like they'll be like, well, you know,
And that's what happened. It was other women in the room.
see. Yeah. Chance to check your friends. Yeah. Miss, I need to start looking like Tracy Chapman. Y'all gonna stop calling me Tracy Chapman. Oh shit. Yeah. Check your friends. You gonna have some homeboys or associates who not gonna listen, and that's when the ones you need to cut off.
You feel like you need to cut them off?
I was about to say, unfortunately, like you have like associates. I wouldn't call these dudes friends. You have associates, like spades partners. Let's call them that. Like spades not partners, but opponents.
Opponents, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be friends with these dudes.
Yeah, because everybody's an opponent.
Exactly. Me and Will against the world. You have these people that you do like social stuff with who will be ignorant as fuck. And for them to unlearn that, they will take a whole seminar, an all-day workshop, and you might not have the time for all that. So like, you might be.
You don't have time to save women?
No, I always got time.
Wow.
Oh, here you go. Here you go.
Oh my God.
I always got time to save women, but like, unfortunately, not every nigga want to be saved. That's the problem.
You're right about that.
So
some niggas are so deep in their thought and their belief.
Like they in here. Like I'm in the mud. I'm gonna stay here. It's fun, and so you gotta let them do what they do. But you're gonna be fortunate to be around them. You just correct as long as you're doing the best you can. Like as long as you put forth a true effort. At the end of the day, like we don't gain anything from women's distrusting us, women having traumatic experiences with us, women being afraid of us. Like we don't gain anything from that. So once you realize how important it is that you do this work to build a community that you say you want, so you can get this wife that you say you want and these kids you say you want, like you just got to do the work to get that. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it is.
Any final thoughts?
Niggas gonna nig.
Niggas gonna nig, y'all. I'm sorry.
Niggas gonna nig.
Unfortunately.
Do better. All right. Well, for the last portion of our show, we're gonna be doing our thirst of the week. This week's thirst is a favorite.
Bro, she's lit.
She's lit. So this week's thirst is gonna be Young Barbecue. Super dope woman. She is a dancer / comedian. You can catch her on her Instagram, Young YUNG BBQ. This is, I don't know if y'all have seen her, but she's the girl that dances in the street. Mm-hmm. That's really all she does, and she does it in hilarious ways. There's a video of her dancing with Kev on stage.
Oh God!
This is a video of her dancing with Kev on stage from All Def Comedy. My man leg hyperextended so bad.
Kev just pulled all the groin.
Yeah, she danced with Kev on stage. She danced with a couple other people. If you want to, a lot of people are viewing her now. The first time I saw her was when Tierra Whack said something. Tierra Whack like posted her video and said, "I hate her" or something like this.
Shout out to Tierra Whack.
Yeah, shout out Tierra Whack. She's one of my favorite artists as well.
All right.
But yeah, man, it's pretty dope seeing somebody who, you know, doesn't who just doesn't care and is having fun. So Young Barbecue, catch her dancing in the middle of the street. She's actually an amazing dancer.
She is.
And she just doesn't have, I guess, what you would say the typical body is for a dancer.
I'll be pulling all the hammies trying to do this shit.
But she's super free and amazing. So check her out. You'll get a laugh. Young Barbecue.
Yeah, man. Beautiful, beautiful stuff, man.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate y'all, for another great show. Everybody chilling with us in the live show. You know, we repost this on SoundCloud, iTunes, Pornhub, everywhere. After that, please stop trying to be me. What are you doing? What's happening to your mouth?
I gotta get the sound down.
We're taking down the show, y'all. I'm sorry.
Ooh, got him. Got him.
We'll throw up. We'll see y'all next week. Thank y'all so much. We love y'all. Peace. I'm about to kick you. Look, you having a seizure.
Bro, I get too much spit in the corner of my mouth.
Oh, your saliva's washing around.
I could be one of them niggas from Africa that speaks the click language. Bro, my words be all slurred.
You think you have a speech impediment?